So I walked back to the picnic area, and as I expected, I found a McDonald's cup in the bin, where it's the best place to find McDonald's cups. Somebody had had their McDo and very nicely put all the rubbish in the bin, and so I was able to claim a cup which I rinsed out in the lake, and now I've got a little bit of water. But here's a typical little waterfall stream which I'm going to paint. There's a lot of things in front of it. I could go over there, but I'll probably fall on my ass and into the water. I wanted to paint from back there, but it's just a bit too long. So what I'll do is I'll imagine that I've cut away all these bamboos and make a sketch. So hang on in there. I don't think it was videoing while I was painting. I think I had it on a different thing. Anyway, but I've got the tree here. These are various trees going off, and then the tree here. Rocks. There's water there, and up here this is man-made rocks. Actually, the road is just here, but you know, I'm not going to show the road, am I? And then there's this big tree stump coming down here. Now let me just try something. Let me just get my paints out my bag. Alright, then if I lay everything out carefully, I'll put that there and put the things on it so I won't be losing them. That's a nice little device for mainly for long distances. If you go for a distance and you want to just focus on one small area. Alright, so this is good practice. Let's just put everything slowly so I don't forget. I'm not going to be losing things. There's my paints. Okay. So there I've got this box which I really like, and then I can just put some water in there, and then that sits on my knee normally, but today I'm going to put it over here. These paints are new, they're full, so of course they've stuck to the lid a little bit. Well, that's okay. Okie pokey. Appalachian Trail practice take 1. Let's just get some basic greens going. That's another thing, that once I get out on the trail, these paint boxes will have all the colours in already mixed, and I'll know what to mix on an evening. Just mix that in with that mud. And choose this flat-ended. Let's put this grass in. Am I still videoing? I believe I am. There we go. That's what's all there. These will get touched up when I get back, when I get into sort of camp up somewhere. I don't have to worry too much about this. A bit more yellow there than I need, but it's alright. So I've got a mixture of lots of greens, and then I mix some greens with yellows, and just makes woodland colours. There, it's all green, and then right at the top I'm going to just change the bush, not for any need to. I just want to practice with different bushes. I've done this a dozen times out in the sticks, but it's always good to practice. Now I'm not really enjoying how I'm sat, so I could really do with a little table, but you know, I'm going to be left. People are going to take the piss as it is with me, all my setup, to the point they might have me removed off the Appalachian Trail if I turn up with a table and chairs, you see when I paint en plein air and hike, I'm more interested in the painting than the hiking. I'm just putting that. It's a beautiful mixture of lilac and blue, which I mix up, and it goes in the trees. It goes to the base of all the trees. This one here as well. Now the idea, one of the things I mustn't do is have any hard edges. That's, you know, paint that dries so it looks like blocks of paint. Just let it all mix in. And then coming round here, it gets a bit more muddier, but I'll warm that up with a little bit of red. Alright. I mean, those greens, I'm going to have to seriously rethink this. I need a table set up. See, I can't always rely on using my backpack, because if the ground's wet or dirty, I don't want to put my backpack down, say in front of me, to use it like an easel, because it gets all gunky. I can do, but you know, it's not an obvious option. Right, now get these rocks in there. Alright, and just put them in a bit bluey purple, and just put them in. I'll put them in, and then there's the ones that come in like that. Just changing that colours a little bit. I can always go in later again with more pencil to reinforce these. Well, that's water. That's water. I want to keep that. That's stone. That can be stone. Now my feet are not very comfortable. This is important that I remember these things. This is a nice olive green. It comes right down to the water, that. And then there's rocks in there as well. I'm not too worried about these trees because I can put them in later. And what does that mean? Well, I can sit at the campsite having done a photograph, and I know how to do trees in the background. I know this. You know, you just put all different kind of lines in, and basically use all the rubbish that's left in the paint box. And just bring that tree down there. So when you got all gunk like this, that's good stuff to. And if it's a bit too dark, just lighten it up with a bit of yellow. There's moss there, you see. Let's get that in. There we go. And then there's all kinds of stuff coming up here. Oh yeah, maybe a bit too light. You don't have to necessarily draw in the trees, you can draw in the shadows behind them. Okay, so if you get that nice and wet, that can be the shadow behind the trees. And these trees are mauves and what colour is mauve? The purples, and just putting the dark areas a bit behind, and then the tree trunks will pop out a little bit more. I can work more on that later. And just make no round edges and no straight edges. Alright, just let's settle for a moment. Come back here. Bigger bush, Maurice, bigger bush. Let's try that one again. It's good that I get to know my bushes while I'm at home and not worrying about this on my first day of painting, going, oh, what bush shall I use? I want to know these bushes. Oh, magpie come to say hello, but I'm not gonna. You can hear him maybe. Yeah. Where are you? Oh, it's a frog. I mean, the amphibian, not a local. I mean, friends, shouldn't make jokes like that. Right, let's just tackle the water. I'm going to go back. Nice little bush like that. I want to test these bushes for doing things. The water is a greeny brown. Now I've got a nice burnt umber here, which I'm going to mix with some green. Now that area there is more white and bubbly. That area there is all white and bubbly. And then it comes with some, nothing on my brush. Okay, this is all kind of moss. Just put in a bit more paint. Now let that, so get that waterfall looking more like it's separate, and just lighten that up. And that is really quite white water there. I'm going to put in a stone here. Reinforce those stones up there a little bit. And then the water, when it gets to here, that's all bubbly. See it? Very difficult to paint. Sketch. Not so difficult to paint when you're back home in the studio. But, the thing to do, I find, is to make sure the stuff around it is dark enough so it makes that water, what you want to be, water, stand out just a little bit more. Put that one in there, because then of course it goes off into the lake, the stream lake there. It's just, and again, to make that stand out a little bit, I'll just overemphasize that. There we go, a nice bit of teal. Let's just bring my water over here. Now I'd probably spend 15 to 20 minutes doing something like this, and then work on it when I get set up later that evening. Get these shadows into the rocks over here, and then they lighten up. And of course there's a whole mass of stuff going on here which I can't really justify with these simple bushes. I don't know if you can see that. I probably would use a sponge as well. Get them in there. A bit more, make sure I've got enough bit of green also on these. Alright. Sometimes it works. I'm not just try it, see if it works. You can put a bit of blue, if you've got the blue in the sky, you put it back into the water, that can work. And people know that it's the sky reflecting. I mean, there's so much more going on here. I can't justify it really. I like these little square bushes because they can, I'll show you what they do. Rather than waffling on about it, you can put in edges, and then you've got non-edges as well, softer edges. And all this here can be darkened off, so that you don't really pay much attention. And there's all kinds of stuff in there, isn't there? And if I wanted more detail on this bark, just add some more water and then go in and let that work itself to show bark. Just to let the water do the work for you. A bit darker in there. Darks. Some darks in. Alright. Just play with some grass. I need another bush for that. What else have I got? There's a bush. Let's try this one. Let's try this one. It's got a bit of a fluffy end to it. I don't know why I did that. Let's see if we can. Yeah. Get some. A bit too wet. A bit too dark. Nearly anything on the bush, just keep using it until it runs dry. Right. I'm not quite happy with that. That wants to be more, or should I say less? And that's not the bush to do it with. Small square, let's try you. You haven't had a go yet. Alright. Yeah. That. Must be. There's a load of leaves in here. I can put them in. And I can just put that anywhere. Never really wash off any paint off your bush. You just put it somewhere in the painting. So if you're busy doing something which is important here, let's just say, let's give you an example. Let's just put a bit of bark on there. Alright, and then you finish with it, we'll just go in and squiggle it off down here. And that needs to be emphasis because the water does not go, well, it's not there, but I could have left that little spot there. Well, never mind. I've got some white. Let's try some Chinese white. I'm very big on Chinese white. I'm going to dedicate an area of my maybe I'll go in later and lighten these areas up a little bit. Not going to do anything with that. Again, you've got to be, this is kind of moving into gouache. You've got to be careful with gouache. It's very overpowering for the rest of the colours. If you, that's what I mean to say. Well, if you had Chinese white to any colour that's in here and in here, it just moots it. It's a little bit, you might as well imagine you added sand to the painting. You know, it has a lovely effect, but you don't want it in all your painting. I don't know if that shows, I don't know if that works, or a little bit splash. Not really. But what I will do just to finish is just cover up a couple of these hard edges. Do away with them. You're not going to get hard edges when water's running over stuff. That's fine. So there you go, bit of a oh, just look at my tubes. Now let me put my Chinese white away and let's get it all over my hands. That's a good idea. Put the lid on, put it down, do it later. So there you go, got this nice little where is it? Nice little stream. Okay, and got that running water there, and I can transfer it to that there. I'll put some more white here when it all dries. I'll work, see this I would work at, get back to camp and work on it, and you know, just loads of things you can mess around with, take away edges and put stuff in. What I'd do is I'd use up nearly all this old paint. I'd use it up just putting in the all this, not this front bamboo, that'd be too confusing, but those twigs there, for example, yeah, they can go in, they could go in here using some of this. It's too wet at the moment, it's too wet to worry about. It wouldn't do what I want it to do, so I'll just leave it and put that in later. So there you go.